Why do I have like 10 players postponed? Dude, I have so many in one of my leagues.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I have a couple like really good ideas for videos coming up, and that's going to be included. Something like that. Something about how it's worth it to pick up players that have only played 7 games this year. And like the
I feel
updated.
like
Go ahead.
I feel like people are gonna catch on though.
Yeah, maybe. Like just as I updated the projections, I'm like looking, and like the Vancouver guys are so much lower than everybody else because they've already played 13 games. It's crazy. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. I think the stream's running good. Very curious to how the audio levels are for me today. Gonna have like a 3 or 4 day. I'm gonna be questioning you guys on how the volume is. Hey, I'm seventh one in here. You're eighth, Clarky.
Oh,
Oh,
top 10,
dude,
top 10.
I gotta fix your. All right, that should be better on the overlay. Let's see if it changes. I'm gonna watch it on the stream.
I just like took a screenshot of it to show you after, Mike. I'm like,
Yeah,
you've got to be kidding me with the crops right now.
I,
But no, it was like a last second
I think
thing.
I just
That's
changed
it's
it.
on.
Oh
It's
yeah,
my fault.
oh yeah, we're good. We moved you over.
Good. Okay, perfect.
Audio's mint. Love to hear it. All right,
Good. Good.
that is
Good.
good news.
What's going on, guys?
How's everyone doing? Did anyone play last night? I know Ray did pretty good last night. Nice 3-3 stack.
Yeah, I saw that in the Discord. Good for you, buddy.
How did everyone else do last night? If you played, if not, how's your fantasy week going so far? Your matchups and everything. Trying to think about my hat trick prediction right now.
Already got mine.
You got I said mine before the stream, so you know who mine is. Oh, I know who you're going. Come on. Whatever.
You can't. You
I know.
can't tell me
I
it's a
know.
bad guess.
It's easy. It's an easy one.
It's just when does he ever score 3 goals in a game? You know.
Yeah, I know. Except for the first game ever of his career.
You know what I hate about the team especially is you see like teams like the Oilers 7 goals in a game. It's never the Leafs, right? Like the Leafs will
Oh.
never just like run the score up.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. It's like we fall asleep if we're up by 2 goals. It's weird.
That is weird, yeah. I thought you were going to tell me a Canadiens player you're picking tonight, but God, they look good. Oh,
They do.
God. Looks like I'm going to 3-1. Too many players out. Yeah, man, it's so annoying right now. Give me some pasta. Yeah, so I updated our projections. Give you guys a quick sneak peek right now, but look at Pasternak, number 2 rest of the season. So, and he looked really, really good last night again. So, first line Hyman, yeah, that will be a topic of conversation in this stream. Hey, Clarky?
Yeah.
He's cheap.
He is,
Like,
which is surprising because he scored last game.
give me some pasta, yeah. Yeah, these postponements are really annoying. Like, I posted my video yesterday on players to pick up because I saw Spurgeon Dumba was out. So I'm like, okay, instantly Brodin gets a pretty hefty bump. And then I'm getting a bunch of comments saying that Minnesota games have been canceled. So I went and looked into it. I posted the video at 4:30, and the announcement that their games were being postponed was at 7 p.m. So like 2.5 hours after I posted. But I'm just like, you know what? I'm not gonna have to make an entirely new video because of one guy. So maybe next week I'll add an extra player into my must pick up for the week. But whatever. I wonder if Hyman's available. Like, I wonder his ownership in like certain leagues right now.
I can't imagine it would be very high. Like he doesn't do too much outside of like the odd goal, you know? Like I can't imagine he shoots the puck a lot.
Yeah. All right, so we have a 9-game slate today, if I'm correct. I don't know if there's like just more postponements, but let me mute these Discord noises right now.
Streamer mode, baby.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8-game. I lied. All right, let's get started. So, first game, Canucks, Leafs. On the Canucks side here, so it looks like Horvat is staying on line one. I haven't looked too much into it to see if they switched it up, but I did watch most of that game, and it looks like Horvat is on the top line. So my assumption, and we talked about this before the stream, is that the top line is going to be going up against the Leafs one, assuming Horvat is going to be in that shutdown role tonight. So very favorable matchup for Leafs one. I think you're fine going Canucks one. The Leafs are pretty below average defensively. They've taken a lot of penalty this year. They've been struggling on the penalty kill, so I don't think it's bad going to Canucks one tonight. They're kind of pricey for me. There's a lot better plays on the slate, and we'll run through that, but I don't think the Canucks ownership's going to be too high tonight. I think they might be under 10% on a 10-game slate, or on an 8-game slate, so I don't mind that. Line 2 here, I liked it way better with Horvat on that line. Their expected goals numbers were extremely high, 5-on-5. Assuming they're going up against the Tavares line, which is a pretty hard matchup, so I can't really see myself getting into too much Canucks, but definitely don't hold off on Pettersson tonight. If you're going Horvat, Besser, Miller, you can definitely take Pettersson in that lineup as well. A full 5-man power play stack or a 4-man power play stack if you want to get kind of different, I think is a good route. On the defensive side, Hughes, 5K. Again, I'm not going to play Hughes as a one-off, and we mention this every week. He has the most relevance when he's playing, or when you're correlating him with your power play stacks with the Canucks or with line one, just because of all that correlation. And the other defense, I like Edler at 4K. He's a guy that shoots and blocks quite a bit. The Leafs should have a ton of opportunity to shoot the puck tonight, especially on the power play. So Edler's going to be their main guy to be blocking shots. So he's fine at 4K. And Demko, 6,900 tonight. So he's a goalie that shines in highly offensive games towards his team, which seems to be the case every night. But I just think it's such a brutal matchup against the Leafs tonight. And I wouldn't be surprised if Toronto scored 5 or 6 goals.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup for sure. Demko is a cheap option if this game does stay pretty low event, like we've seen it in the past, like especially with the Leafs and Oilers tangent. Obviously, the Canucks are just as bad defensively as the Oilers. So, but for 6,900, he's still a good goalie. He's still going to make a lot of saves. He probably gets the save bonus tonight, and you're just hoping for that price that the Leafs don't score too many. So I think it's not the worst value play just because he's going to get a lot of shots, but if the Leafs score 4 or 5, then it's kind of like warranting that at the price. But I do like both of the first line and the second line with variation, right? Like you got to remember it's only an 8-gamer today, so you've got a lot of options still. And I think there's better options to go. There's better matchups, but the Leafs do still give up goals, right? So you got to be wary of that, especially on the penalty kill. So if you take a power play stack, definitely get some of that first line with Quinn Hughes in there, or throw Pettersson in there. I like that four player stack that you mentioned earlier. It's a good way to go. And honestly, Pettersson's looking a lot better these days, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets his looks tonight as well. Just probably off the third line altogether. I don't think it's you should take the third line in general.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see the projected goals for tonight. So it looks like Vancouver's projected for 2.78 goals tonight, which is pretty good, actually, for Freddie Anderson's sake, to be honest. And then it looks like the Leafs are projected to score almost 4 goals tonight. So expect there to be a lot of ownership on the Leafs, and we'll get to that. So hopping over to the Leafs side, thank God Zach Hyman is on that top line. Man, I could not stand it with Joe Thornton there. Zach Hyman, I've been just analyzing him quite a bit the last few days. It looks like he's one of the best expected goals for players in the league, and he hasn't really been producing too high. So I'm assuming that ownership is going to be pretty low tonight, actually. Let me see quickly, just his game log. So yeah, like other than the last game, he's been pretty quiet, but playing a ton of minutes, 20, 23, 18, 21. So love me some Zach Hyman tonight. They're in a really good spot against the Canucks. The one thing I want to monitor tonight is that Hughes-Myers matchup on D is like very, very favorable for whoever's playing against them. We don't know those, like the matchups and who's going to be playing against who tonight, but I'm assuming the Tavares line is probably going to be matching against the second pairing, and that's really favorable for them. Those D have been absolutely horrendous this year. They've been giving up the most Corsi, the most scoring chances by a long shot. So love me Leafs 1 tonight. Love me Leafs 2 tonight. Defensive end, I'm not overly excited about Morgan Rielly, to be honest. I just feel like he hasn't impressed me enough to where I'm reaching for him at that price range in comparison to some other D. I do think he is going to get quite a bit of ownership tonight just because of how favorable this matchup is for the Leafs. But, a really, really good spot for Leafs one tonight. They have extremely good 5-on-5 numbers. The Canucks are far and away the worst defensive team. If you guys watched my video last night on why you should be dropping Braden Holtby, you saw how bad the Canucks are defensively. They are the worst for Corsi against, the worst for goals against, the worst expected goals against. They are just atrocious this year. So Leafs are in a very, very good spot tonight.
Yeah, I agree. We see Wayne Simmons move up to that second line there with Tavares and Nylander, and Mikheyev go back down to the third line. So you get a little bit more power play correlation with that second line, especially with Simmons being on the top power play with Marner and Matthews. But yeah, the Leafs first line are just in an absolute slam dunk spot tonight. You can't go wrong. That line is always good at 5-on-5 as well. And then you do get the Matthews-Marner power play duo there. But Morgan Rielly, like in terms of his shot volume, it's just been low, right? We're not seeing that high shot total that Rielly was getting to a little bit last year. And he's kind of in the same spot for me as Cale Makar. It's just you're hoping he gets like 2 or 3 assists on like a power play if the Leafs go off, right? So in terms of peripherals, he's definitely not up there with some of the other higher ND on the slate tonight, but it's kind of similar to the Quinn Hughes situation. Or the Cale Makar situation. You're just hoping he gets a couple points on like the power play or a couple assists or something like that, right? But yeah, I like the Leafs second line as well. I think no matter where you go with the Leafs tonight, I think it's a good option. I probably wouldn't take any of the third line either.
Yeah, I'm just looking right now. So it looks like the Leafs played 17 minutes 5-on-5, which is a ton. And they had 10 scoring chances against the Oilers. So let's say the Leafs get another 10 scoring chances tonight against the Canucks. It is very probable they're going to score on at least 2 or 3 of them. So just a very, very, very good spot for Toronto tonight. It's just going to be really hard to get away from them. And they're priced pretty good. So it's not like we see the 9K Matthews and the 8,700 Marner. So love me Leafs one tonight. Senators, Canadiens. This is an interesting one. These Canadian teams, like the division is just insane. I'm doing an analysis right now. And I mean, you guys can probably guess what the end result was, but highest offense in the Canadian division and worst defense. So these games are always going to be shootouts, very high event, lots of chances. I love the Senators won tonight. I think they're in a pretty good spot against the Canadiens. I know the Canadiens have been pretty good defensively. It's just that this line is producing so much 5-on-5. They're going to be pretty low owned, especially in the tougher matchup against the Canadiens. Probably one of the, if not the toughest team in that division. But I think Senators one's in a pretty good spot tonight. Their ownership's going to be really low. I would be surprised if they were over 10% tonight. So don't mind Senators 1. Probably off Senators 2 and 3. There's just nothing there that really interests me too much. I would love to see Batherson up on line 1 instead of Brown. They were really, really good 5-on-5 as a line. Defensive side here, nothing at all. And Matt Murray is just 50-foot pole tonight.
Matt Murray is my 10-foot pole, and if you're not doing MME, I think it's really hard to get to the Sens tonight. I just think there's a lot better looks on the slate, and Montreal, like I've said in the past, has just been running over teams. Like Tyler Toffoli is literally Vancouver's kryptonite. He scored an absolutely filthy goal. That was
nice.
But yeah, in terms of the Sens, like again, if you're going anywhere, it's Sens 1, just to get a little contrarian. Like I don't think they're too bad in the matchup, but they do go up against Danault, and he's known for being very good defensively, as well as that first line. Like just look at their expected goals for compared to the expected goals against. Like this is a pretty big expected goals matchup here if both line ones go against each other. But we'll get to the Canadiens in a second, but outside of the first line, I don't think you really want to go anywhere else. Stützle hasn't shown that he's playing at an elite level just quite yet, so I'm probably off the second line as well as off of the third line as well. I think their D is super priced. Like, why is Mike Reilly priced at 4,200? For 17 minutes of ice time, I'm probably off him altogether. And Zaitsev does block a lot, I think. he blocks and he shoots actually a half decent amount. Just in the past couple of games here, he's had 6 shots in his last 3 games, and then 9 blocks in his last 3 games. He had 5 blocks last game. So I think if you're trying to get like a nice floor defenseman, 4,800 is still pretty expensive.
Way
but
too pricey.
I think I would rather go somewhere else on the slate, to be honest. Like, there's definitely better options. And Matt Murray, like you said, is my 10-foot pole tonight. So
yeah, I think so too. All right, Canadian side, what a good matchup here for Canadiens. I like the first line, but man, I just can't get away from line 2. They were by far my favorite line 2 nights ago, I think it was, and they're unbelievable tonight. They're priced super good, no one over 6K. They're 14-7 as a line. They're in a very, very favorable matchup, assuming they're going against Senators 2 tonight, or even the third line. I can definitely see Deneau going against the Norris line. And this just opens the door for the Suzuki line. They are in a great spot. They all have power play 1 correlation with Jeff Petrie on D. You can definitely pair Petrie with them. The Senators have been getting absolutely killed 5-on-5. They've been getting absolutely killed on the power play. So Canadiens 2 is just in such a good spot tonight. They're really, really good 5-on-5. I'm looking here. It looks like they all played over 3 minutes on the power play last game in comparison to the second power play, who played just 1 minute. So they're getting a pretty large share of the power play, but looks about 60 or 70%. So definitely give me some Canadiens 2 tonight. I just can't see myself getting away from them at all. It's just such a good spot. And the Canadiens 3, so Toffoli at 6,500 is really pricey, but man, they've been good. He's been good. Shot volume's been good. They have been pretty solid 5-on-5. Going against Senators' depth tonight, you can definitely get to Canadiens 3, but the way I'm looking at this is I think I'm just better off going with Canadiens 2 at the $1,200 increase in price. It's just so hard for me not to get to all 3 of them on power play 1. And looking at the defensive side here, Sherratt's been actually really good. He projects really well for us. Don't mind Sherratt tonight, and I think Petrie is one of the best defense options, and I don't think you'll hear me say that too often, but even at 6,500, it's just such a favorable matchup. Has that power play 1, he shoots a ton, plays a bunch of minutes. So Canadiens 2 and Petrie tonight, man. Oof.
Yeah, I'm just double checking something quick. In terms of the power play, okay, so it was Anderson, Suzuki, Toffoli, Drouin, and Petrie on the top power play. So Daily Faceoff hasn't updated that yet. It's still showing Petrie, Weber with Toffoli, Suzuki, and Drouin up top. So we have the correct numbers there. I always like the second line over the first line. I just like that they don't get the hard matchup. And Josh Anderson, we know he's a high volume shot guy. Suzuki's just absolutely looking like he's lights out this year again. And I like the third line as well. Like it's hard to get off of Toffoli right now, just the way that he's playing. And we see Corey Perry's price come up a little bit too, but he does get power play time, so I'm not too concerned about that as well. I just think no matter where you go with Montreal tonight, it's a good option. But I love the second line. I always like the second line more than the first line. But like even the first line still has a good matchup. Like I don't think as good as the first line is for the Sens in terms of expected goals for and against, it doesn't look like a hard matchup on paper for the Canadiens. So I like all 3 of their lines. I like Jeff Petrie at 6,500. I think I'm a big advocate of just sticking with or jumping on the bandwagon and sticking on a player who's hot, similar to how Tyler Toffoli is doing right now. Like you just gotta kind of ride the streak. Yeah. And it's the same thing with Jeff Petrie. Like if he's gonna continue to produce at the rate that he is right now, and until he shows me otherwise, I think he's warranted his price for 6,500. And then it kind of gets me a little bit off of Weber just because he's on that second power play unit now, as well as his peripherals haven't been up to where we usually see them. And Petrie's just looking like their go-to offensive guy right now. The only real pricing issue is Carey Price 8,500. You're just hoping he sees a lot of shots for that price as well, and gets the win. If Ottawa does bury a couple goals, it kind of brings down his value there, just because he is so expensive. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, he's a great goaltender, and the Canadiens should come out with a win here. But it's just going to depend on how many shots the Sens get through.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just going to answer a couple questions quickly. So 74% was Hyman's ownership on ESPN. That's pretty good. That means he's available in some leagues. Is JVR for Teravainen a good trade? If you're in a points league, yeah, that's a good trade. I think JVR is kind of a sell high right now. Yamamoto for Lindholm. Jeez, give me some Lindholm over Yamamoto for me. Power play 1. Anyone got a player props that looks nice tonight? Can you do like Matthews over under shots? Druin is a solid stream. Yep. I have Mott and Nylander playing each other tonight. Should I sit one to avoid a negative plus minuses? I would sit Mott. I think Mott is just like super overhyped. Do I trade Backstrom for JT Miller? Yeah, that's a good trade. I would take JT Miller. So nice to have Pasta back. Yeah, he's just the GOAT. Do Canadiens and Sens hit over 6.5 tonight? No.
We've seen the Canadiens run up the score as of late, and Ottawa is pretty bad. So
I would say 5-1 is my guess.
Over 6.5 is tough though.
Yeah, just because Canadiens are good defensively. Ryan, I would bet on the super over in the Leafs game, which should be about 7.5, and it should pay out pretty good. Anderson on PP1, yeah, I can show you guys here quickly. I have the sheet up, but Josh Anderson, power play 1. That's just what I'm referring to. They got Matthews over under 4 shots. Take the over on that for sure.
Bench 2, Zib, Forsberg, Kopp, Besser, JT Miller, Brady Tkachuk, Aho. I'd probably sit Forsberg and Kopp. Do the Jets play tonight?
Yeah, Forsberg and Kopp for me as well.
Yeah.
All right, Predators, Panthers. So Predators, some new lines. Not sure if these are going to stay. I'm definitely going to look into it to see if they held together for the whole game. But Cousins power play 1 at min price, again, is a decent punt option. But I'm not a fan of the Predators at all this year. Like, they've been just bad. So I did a little bit of an analysis on goaltenders. It looks like Bobrovsky is one of the best goalies for high danger save percentages, which is a complete surprise to me because he is a well below average goalie in my eyes anyways. So I just have the Predators forward lines here. So looks like Duchesne, Forsberg, Granlund stuck together for the entire game last game. So definitely like that line. They're producing pretty well 5-on-5 given the short sample. But if they're matching up against that Huberdeau, Wenberg, Hornquist line, that's pretty favorable for them. So if I'm going anywhere tonight, definitely going to be going Predators too. I just think that they play well 5-on-5, and they have some pretty high upside players. I think Forsberg just needs to find that groove again where he's taking a bunch of shots every game and producing a bunch of scoring chances. Like, Forsberg is a guy that can score like 3 goals a night, and you wouldn't be surprised because he's just that good. But I think he gets just overlooked on a bad Predators team right now. Defensive end, we're going to continue to preach how good Roman Josi is. He's a top play every night, and he's going to project well for us every night because he's been just an absolute force the last couple of years. So Josi very favorably priced at 6,100 in a much better matchup than we've seen the Predators have the last couple of games. So definitely give me some Josi at 6,100. I don't mind Ekholm as a punt option at 3,300 if you're looking for a cheap D, but I'll get to my favorite cheap D in a couple games from now. And UC Saros at 7,500 is actually a pretty good price for him. The Panthers are projected to score. I have it here. So Panthers are projected to score 3 goals, 3.11 goals tonight. So it is kind of a high total, but I think if Saros can make 30, 35 saves and let up 2 or 3 goals tonight, it's fine. They have a pretty good chance at winning. What's their win percentage tonight? So 46% chance at winning for the Predators. So the Panthers are the favorites, but I don't mind Saros at that price tag.
Yeah, it's good value, and I think the Panthers are definitely a not a strong defensive team. I will say that. So the Preds do warrant a little bit of value here. I think the second line is where I'm going as well. It's funny you talked about Forsberg's shot volume. He has 15 shots in the last 3 games, 14 shots. But like you said, he's just not finding the back of the net. So I think if he continues to shoot, it's gonna come eventually, and that's a guy that can score goals. That's a talented player as well. Playing on a line with Duchesne and Granlund too, like half decent playmakers as well. So I think that line definitely warrants a little bit of value. They are split in terms of the power play, but I think they have a good matchup if they go against the Wenberg line. And as for the first line, I'm kind of off them. Like they're cheap. There's not really a lot of upside here in terms of Victor Arvidsson being the only kind of scoring threat on that line. I just think if you're why Nick Cousins is on power play one, I'll never understand. But Eli Tolvanen is somebody to just kind of keep an eye on. He has a very, very, very good shot. He is if you've ever watched him in the World Juniors or anything, he's a scoring threat for sure. I wouldn't take him in DraftKings tonight, especially with the line that he's playing on, but just somebody to like keep an eye on in terms of a potential prospect, but maybe seeing top 6 minutes. We'll see what happens with the Preds. But going back to Yossi again tonight, I will continue to go back to Yossi again tonight. Ellis's price is 5,300, which I think is okay because he's getting power play one time. And then I love Ekholm at 3,300. I think he's just such a high floor defenseman. And he definitely holds his value for most nights. So I think in terms of like cheap D's, definitely up there for me. And then Dante Fabro isn't the worst punt option. I don't know what his numbers are. Have you been keeping track of him?
He's not bad. Like I looked today, he's been all right.
Yeah, last year he showed a little bit more promise towards the end of the season. But I think in terms of he got the block bonus last game, but other than that, he hasn't shown too much in terms of his peripherals. So I'm probably off him today.
Yeah, I'm just looking into Forsberg right now. So his shot attempts per game is at 6.28 per game, and his best season of his career, so highest shot attempts was 5.9. So he's actually on pace to have more shot attempts this year than his career. So I think that Forsberg's someone you can look at in your season-long fantasy leagues as well. Seems like he has some positive. He's going to get a little bit better, I'm hoping. His shooting percentage is actually around his career average, but don't mind Forsberg tonight. So Panther side, we actually got a question here asking if Verhaeghe's going to move up to power play one. And my answer to that is I don't know. I don't know what the Panthers are going to do. Like they gave Yandel that second chance, and he's actually been not bad. I still think he's super overrated, but I don't know what's going to happen with their power play one. I haven't really watched too many Panthers games to see the skill that Verhaeghe has, but he's been pretty good 5-on-5. So Panthers, again, they're just really cheap, and you can fit them with a lot of stacks, but I think there's just better plays on the slate tonight. So I don't mind Panthers ones at that price tag, but I liked Duclair better when he was like 3,500, and same with Verhaeghe. But now they're coming up in price, and Verhaeghe's sample size is too small for me to get overly excited about. But they have been pretty good 5-on-5. The Predators have been struggling defensively, so you can definitely go to the Panthers here. I think one of the best ways to play this game is to power play stack with like Barkov, Huberdeau, Hornqvist, Ekblad, something like that. The Predators are the worst penalty killing team in hockey right now, so I wouldn't be surprised to see the Panthers take complete advantage of that. But I like line 1 over line 2. I'm not too excited about line 2. For some reason, Hornqvist is consistently getting like 25% ownership, and I'll never understand why. But if I'm going anywhere here, it's Panthers 1. And I'd actually like Aaron Ekblad tonight at 6,300. I think it's a really favorable matchup, both on the power play and 5-on-5 for him. And he's been playing like 27 minutes a night. So don't mind Ekblad tonight. If you're looking at that price range, you know Yossi's going to get the ownership. You know John Carlson's going to get the ownership. You know Dougie Hamilton's going to get ownership. So Ekblad's a guy, like an ownership play, where he's going to be probably under 10% and has just as high as a floor as those other guys. So don't mind him tonight. And I think Bobrovsky's in a pretty good spot as well.
Yeah, I like Bobrovsky, especially if the Preds continue to shoot. Ekblad for 6,300, I think he's a little too expensive for my taste. Just in terms of like the peripherals, he has been like, he's got 5 points in 6 games though, so that's probably why he's priced up like that. But not a bad play pairing that with like a cheaper end power play stack. The Hornqvist thing confuses the heck out of me as well. But if he sees 25% ownership for 5,900 tonight, like I'm completely fine with that. Like I'm not really on the second line at all. I think they just get shelled at 5-on-5, and I'd like Huberdeau up on that top line. But Duclair's an interesting story, actually. Normally known as like a goal scorer, he has 6 assists and like no goals in his first 5 games. Yeah, his shot volume's been down as well, so just kind of something to keep an eye on. I know you were pretty high on him as like a breakout candidate or a sleeper this year. Not that he's playing bad. I just think he's known as a goal scorer, and it's interesting playing on that line now that he's more passing the puck frequently. But I definitely like the first line for the Panthers. I think it's a good matchup no matter where they go. Verhaeghe's been surprisingly good, and Barkov's shot volume is still up there. I know he kind of busted the last game, but I'll probably go back to that first line just as like a kind of contrarian play, just to get like a little different, especially if you're doing an MME tonight. But I do like the Ekblad take. He's a little pricey for me. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not bad. We'll see. Yeah, I've been cashing on Pasta over 4 shots. Yeah, I don't know why it's both of them average like 5 shots a game almost. Thanks, I'll bet on that super over. God, I hope I'm right. I'm gonna be like watching that super closely tonight, but I can definitely see a 6-3 Leafs game tonight. Like, no question. The lack of home crowd has really hurt teams like the Preds. They seem so flat this season. Yeah, they've just been quiet. I don't know. Yeah, Verhaeghe's so fast. I didn't know that. Yeah, I haven't really been paying attention to the Panthers at all. Boys just got offered Horvat and Pionk for Wright, Nugent-Hopkins, and Romanov. Jeez. I'd probably take the Nugent-Hopkins side. I just think he's the best player in that trade.
Yeah.
Drop Yandel and Doughty when Letang is back. Or Doughty. Oh, drop Yandel over Doughty.
Mm-hmm.
So Letang, I'm just reading here. It just says he's day-to-day. So, all right. Looking extra Italian today. Come on. Already starting with the Italian jokes. All right, Capitals, Rangers. So, Capitals won. Looks like they have their line from last season back, the Ovi Backstrom Wilson. And they played a bunch of minutes together. They were really good 5-on-5. They're in a pretty favorable spot against a struggling Rangers team tonight. So, I definitely can see myself getting to some Capitals 1. Again, I would just, at some point, I would rather just take the Leafs for $1,000 more in a better spot. But it's an ownership play. So, I like Capitals 1 tonight. Not going to do too much with Capitals 2 or 3. The lines just look very atrocious to me. I think they're going to struggle breaking out of their own end, and they're going to have a lot of time in their own end with Panarin, Strome, and Kreider probably controlling the play majority of the time against these lines, but we'll see. And John Carlson, man, he has been something else this year. So hard for me to get away from him. He's a solid D as a one-off. He's a good D if you're playing the Capitals 1 tonight. So don't see anything wrong with John Carlson at all. And Vitek Vanacek. So this is something I wanted to touch on today. Vanacek is the 3rd worst goalie tonight for high danger save percentages. He is below 800. I think he's going to come back to life eventually. And you thought his save percentage was 945 when you took your guess. He's down to 914 and almost a 3 goals against average. The Capitals haven't really played against a highly offensive team yet, playing against Boston and the Rangers. Boston and the Islanders, who are more known for their defense over the offense. So I think the Capitals are going to actually struggle a bit against the Rangers tonight.
Yeah, I was way off on that Vanacek guess, but it's still a lot higher than I thought. We kind of talked about it prior to the show, but you can't go wrong with John Carlson just the way he's playing right now. Even though he's 6,800, he's the highest priced D on the slate. But it's warranted, right? Like he's been absolutely lights out. So I'm gonna have some of him tonight for sure. The first line there, like the only thing I'm kind of confused about this matchup is like, is it gonna be high scoring or is it gonna be a low event game? Like, I keep saying the Caps are bad defensively, but they continuously like win games. So maybe I'll get to some Capitals 1 tonight. But like you said, I'd rather go with the Leafs just. In terms of the matchup, unless you think Ovi's absolutely going to go off against like a bad team in the Rangers. Like I don't know what's going on with the Rangers right now, but they're just not on pace with where they were to finish off the rest of the season. So I think if you're doing MME, there's just, like you said, better plays to go tonight. I'm probably not taking the second line at all or the third line. So if I'm going anywhere with the Caps, it's Caps 1.
All right. Yeah, I'm just looking here. So it looks like the Washington's projected to score 3.08 goals tonight, and then the Rangers are projected to score 3. So goals have to come from somewhere. But Rangers side, I know you guys want to hear me talk about it, but Mika Zibanejad, Lafreniere, Buchnevich. Man, Mika needs to get out of this slump. He is killing me right now. A lot of people are going to start to lose trust in me with Mika, but 53 shot attempts in 9 games. He's at about 6 shot attempts per game. That's really high. His volume's there. He just needs to get some puck luck. His shooting percentage is at 3.3%. His career average is 11%. So Mika is going to score. It's going to come. I think tonight is a pretty good matchup against a kind of a depleted Capitals team. And I think with Vanecek's low, high danger save percentages, I think that we can see Mika pop a few in the net tonight, especially on the power play. So, I mean, I don't think I'm going to be too high on Rangers 1. They do project pretty well for us. But I think if I'm going anywhere, it'd probably be a Rangers power play stack with Zib, Booch, and Panarin. Something like that. Something to get a little different. But Rangers 1 and 2, they're pretty favorably priced tonight. The value's there. The projection's there. So don't mind the Rangers at all as a team tonight. On the defensive end, a really good... Oh, Vrana is line 2 now. Okay. We made these lineups a little bit earlier this morning. But Keandre Miller is a really good punt defenseman tonight at 2,700. He has been playing quite a bit of minutes, and he's been blocking a lot of shots. So I don't mind Keandre Miller if you're looking for someone at that price range and you're a little bit indecisive. So the last 3 games, he's played over 20 minutes a night, and he has blocked 2, 2, and 3 shots. So pretty good if you're looking for a punt defenseman. And Igor Shesterkin tonight, I'm just not a fan of him any night. I think the sample size needs to be a little bit higher for me to get excited about him. But if you want to correlate your goaltender with your Ranger stack, you're completely fine doing that.
Yeah, I agree with the Shesterkin take. I think if this game has goals, it's going to be going both ways, right? I don't know about the Rangers, man. Like, every time I look at them, I'm like, okay, this is the night they're going to go off. This is a good matchup for them. And then they just don't. They don't seem to get like that crazy offensive outburst that we saw last year. And it's partially because like Zib is struggling. But in terms of we see some lineup changes coming here. So
Yeah.
it's Kreider, Zib, Buchnevich. I think, if anything, I'm gonna go with the first line. I think you kind of gotta bet on Zib. He's gonna get out of this slump eventually. He's too much of a talented player, and as you saw last year, like, this guy's capable of scoring goals right, left, and center. So I think just in terms of like a ceiling play, I like the first line. I'm not too keen on the second line with Kakko being there. Strome and Panarin were a good duo, and they do both, him and Strome and Kakko, bring that price down, especially. So I think just in terms of like a filler stack, that's not a bad option either. But in terms of D, Adam Fox at 6K, he's a little bit too expensive for me as well. Trouba, I'm not a huge fan of Trouba, and Keandre Miller is a good punt option. I agree. Mike just touched on his minutes there. He's seeing a lot of time on ice. So for 2,700, I think it's a good punt option.
Sorry, guys. I'm just making some lineup changes here. Got a couple messages in the chat about that. But looks like Vrana's up to second line now. So that's a pretty favorable matchup going against this Rangers 2 line that's atrocious defensively. Let me pull up their numbers here. Have they... Yeah, Panarin, Strome. Oh, my God. Not a big sample, but they've struggled. So...
Yeah, I just think the first line is where you're going today, if anything.
Yeah. Don't mind Capitals, too, if Vrana's up on that line. Pretty good. I got to find some numbers on them, if they even have any with Panic there, but I'll move on. So, Stars, Blue Jackets. So, I'm kind of eating my words here a little bit.
Here we go.
Because the Blue Jackets going into that game were the #1 penalty killing team in the league. And, you know, I'm just sitting there on my couch. I think I was just watching one of the games, and I go look at my phone. It was like 3-0 Dallas with 2 power play goals. I'm like, uh-oh. Like, what's going on right now? So, a lot of changes in the Blue Jackets now that line is there. A bunch of the lines got shuffled. There's not really too much sample I can find on any of these lines at all. So Dallas as well, a little bit of a line change here. So it looks like Pavelski, Ben, and Radulov are all together. I think Ben might actually be on the first power play unit. Where's Dallas? Where's Dallas?
He's not on the first power play
so
unit.
We got this right. So again, I'm just not on the Stars tonight at all. It's just a tough matchup against the Jackets, who have been pretty sound defensively. They haven't really given up many chances 5-on-5 or on the power play. I think the Stars' prices are just super, super inflated. Joe Pavelski is scoring at a crazy rate right now. I don't think he can maintain this. We'll see. But
goal per game right now.
Okay, well, I'm an analytics guy, not a
I'm agreeing.
Oh.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, because
I'm saying his rate is ridiculous.
So his shooting percentage is at 36.8%, and his career average is 12%. So he's going to come back down to life, and I don't want to be taking him when he does. So not a fan of the Stars at all tonight. They're just way, way too pricey for me. But Hudobin, 7,800, pretty favorable matchup. The Jackets have been pretty lackluster offensively. I hate that Bjorkstrand is kind of seeing his role go down a little bit. Like, I still think Bjorkstrand should be on the top line, even with Line A there. But that's just a little bit of a personal bias for me. He played 16 minutes the last 3 games, so not sure what Torch is doing there, but not too big on the Stars tonight at all.
I completely agree. I think if you're going anywhere, it's Hudobin tonight. I keep saying that the Stars haven't figured out how to score goals, and then they'll come back and they'll score like 7 or 8 the night that I say they don't know how to score goals. So I'm also eating my words when it comes to the Stars, but I think their price is really high. They're going to see a lot of ownership tonight just because of recency bias, and I just think there's better options tonight to go to, just in terms of pricing and value. It's also a tough matchup against a good Blue Jackets defensive team. And even the D, like Klingberg, is super expensive at 6,400 for a guy that doesn't typically shoot or block a lot. Like he has 10 points in 7 games. I'm just going to ignore all of the Stars stats because I think it's extremely inflated, like you said. And I think this team is going to come back down to earth. I'm just copying what Mike said the entire time. So just I'm off the Stars.
Yeah. So it looks like we have some changes in the Blue Jackets lines. So sorry, got everyone that's like kind of watching the sheet here. We update it the night before and sometimes the morning before our stream, and the lines change at the morning skate at 12 and 1 p.m. So it's kind of hard for us to stay fully up to date, especially when we're kind of just preparing for the streams. But I appreciate everyone that's, writing the changes in the stream for us. It just helps us out, makes it more, easier to read. But Blue Jackets, they have line changes, and that was what was mentioned in the stream. That was what I was fixing. So it looks like it's Texier, Domi, Line A on the top line, and then Eric Robinson, Roslovich, Atkinson, and Grigorenko, Nash, Bjorkstrand.
Oh, God.
So I'm just going to be quick with this. Don't like the Jackets at all tonight. Really tough matchup. Their lines are all over the place. If you're going anywhere, Seth Jones, Zach Werenski, that's it.
Yeah, absolute blender. I agree with what you said. Werenski and Jones are at good prices there. You could take Korpisalo if you think the Stars are going to come back down to earth this game, but with the way that the Jackets lines are in the blender tonight, I don't like either of the lines at all.
Yeah. 52 people watching right now, 16 likes. Let's get that ratio up a little bit. If you guys are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. We're going to be doing this almost daily. If there's 3 or less games, we won't be streaming, and Sundays we take off. So we're going to be doing this daily. If you want to get notified, hit that notification button. And if you guys want any updates on what's happening, any major line changes, anyone that's game time decision might be playing, or the starting goalies, follow us on Twitter at @fantasy_puck and join the Discord. I think a lot of you guys are from our Discord in here. So good to see the Fantasy Puck community growing every day. I love it. Zibble lighted up tonight. Hell yeah, I love that. Think Cam Atkinson is a good watch list in case he starts popping off with Line A. No, I don't think Atkinson. If you were to look at a correlation between Atkinson and Line A, it's negative because they're both high volume shooters. So I just don't think it's worth it to even look at that. Need help in a 16-team league. Have Hronek and Duclair. Should I be patient or drop them? I actually dropped Duclair in my 12-team league, but in a 16-team league, he's probably a keep. Same with Hronek. Sell high on Pavelski. Yep.
Steep.
Are Hronek and Ty Smith worth holding on to? Have unlimited pickups, free agency. Dropping them allows me to have more bodies in my lineup daily. Yeah.
I think there's probably better.
Depends. Yeah, depends on who's
options.
available. Bjorkstrand's third line. Yeah, thank you for that. Why you keep hating on him and the Stars, and they have proven you wrong. Yeah, they are. But I'm an analytics guy, Hunter. So Stars are a very boring team. They're a very low event team. But if you're a Stars fan, I hope they continue to prove me wrong for your sake.
Yeah.
Dill, I wouldn't drop Hronek. Oh, okay. Jack's helping out. Love that. Why is the Blue Jackets best forward on third line? That is a age-old question. Load up on Leafs players. It's going to be a massacre. Definitely going to be a massacre tonight. Have the chance to pick up Delzato or Forbert high off the glass. Nah, you're good. You hold on to your guys. Great stream, gents. Thank you. I gave 2 likes on my sell in TV. Get the likes up, boys. I love that, Jax. Jax, you're a day one, man.
Oh, Jax. Let's do it.
Like and subscribe. Thanks, Tori. I appreciate it. Do you think Ehlers is sustainable? A little bit. So he's going to come back down a little bit, but I do think his production's sustainable, yes. I don't think he'll be like the 1.5 per game player we see, but if he's a point and 1.2 points per game, it's definitely doable. Definitely doable.
I think if he stays on the top line, it's definitely going to stay somewhere around there. Like playing with Scheifele, it helps your production so much.
Yeah, 56 games. I think 65 points is fair for Ehlers. So, most underrated fantasy channel on YouTube. Appreciate it, Duncan. You guys are awesome. Mike, where's that 1K sub special? It's not coming, Wolf. You're not getting it. All right, what's up, Connor? All right, so Hurricanes, Blackhawks. So I hope some of you guys took my take from last week where this Hurricanes 3-line is unbelievable 5-on-5. So going to quickly skim over this. I like the Hurricanes all around. All of them are in a favorable matchup against the Hawks tonight. But, man, like this line 3 is going to be way too hard for me to ignore tonight. So they're going up against Blackhawks 2, the Strome, Kubalik, DeBrincat line, who is awful defensively. Malcolm Subban starting. He is one of the worst goalies tonight for high danger save percentages. I just can't get away from this line 3. So Hurricanes 3, I'm going all in tonight. I love them. I think you can't go wrong going anywhere in this game. So line 2, very favorable as well. All 3 of them are power play 2. The Hurricanes have about a 60-40 percentage share on the power play, so I don't mind that at all. And line 1's fine, even with Brock McGinn. Like they've been pretty good 5-on-5, and Brock McGinn is going to be a guy, if you full stack them, that's going to be 5 or 6% owned in comparison to Aho and Teravainen being probably over 10%. And if he scores tonight, then that's 4x value. So Hurricanes all around, great team. Defensive side, Dougie's the best defenseman tonight. He was last night, and he busted, but I'm going back to Dougie again. He's just shooting too much for me to get away from him. And here is my favorite 2 defensemen tonight. Jacob Slavin, 3,900. He plays so many minutes. He blocks, he shoots. He is great. And Brett Pesce. So I have my sheet up here. I'll show you guys. So these are shot attempts right now per game. Look where Brett Pesce is on this list. Number 9, Brett Pesce. 3,100 tonight. He had assist, 3 shots, 4 blocks last game. I think at 3,100, he is a very, very good price. And James Reimer, if you're in a season-long league, pick up Reimer now. He is a very good goalie moving forward on a very good Carolina team. And he's a good play tonight again.
Yeah, I actually picked up Reimer in our keeper league because I saw that Mrazek was out.
Yeah, I saw you picked him up. So I'm not happy about it.
Good play, Chris. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, Dougie's great. You can never go wrong with him. Like Mike said, he shoots a lot. That Pesce stat is definitely some great digging there from Mike. So shout out to him, especially at 3,100. If he continues that kind of shot rate, his price is going to go up. So definitely hit him tonight. while his value is there and his price is low. Even Slavin, like I just plays a ton of minutes. Jake Gardiner is power play too, so if you want to take the second line for the Hurricanes and you just need like a cheap D, I don't think that's your worst option. But yeah, it's hard to ignore the Canes tonight. All three of their lines are good. That second line is still my favorite, even though Trocheck isn't on the first power play anymore. He's still great, and he was one of my sleepers this year. I'll say it every week. I don't care. But that line's good. The Canes' first line is also good.
Sorry to cut you off here, but Trocheck is power play 1, and Stahl's power play 2. So continue.
Even better than. I think you can't go wrong no matter where you go with the Hurricanes tonight, unless you take the fourth line, which you shouldn't be doing. And yeah, Reimer at 8,300, like that's a good price for a Hurricanes team that should win this game pretty favorably. I know the last game went to a shootout, but I'm back on the Canes again tonight.
Okay, so someone just said that, and I have it up here. I completely overlooked it, but it looks like Svechnikov is line 1. So let me just confirm that right now.
Wow.
I don't know.
Daily Faceoff doesn't. Oh, they do. It's Svech, Aho, McGinn. Instead of so Teravainen moves down to the third line.
Yeah, I don't like that. Thanks, BioArmor.
So I'm probably more favored just the top 6 then, if that's the case.
So let me look here. So Foegele, Stahl, Svech played 8 minutes, 5-on-5. And then, so yeah, Svech did move up at the end of last game. So listen to this, guys. So this is something important for tonight. Nichas, Trocheck, and Niederreiter had 25 Corsi for. This is the highest I've ever seen. Highest I've seen. I look into this every day. 25 Corsi for, 6 Corsi against, 14 scoring chances to 3 last game. And Malcolm Subban's in net.
Crazy.
So, guys, I think you can't go wrong with Hurricanes 2 tonight. I'll change it up here, and I'm going to say Hurricanes 2 is just a phenomenal play. Wow. Yeah. Thanks, BioArmor. I like that you guys are, helping us a little bit here. Again, like we do the lines a little bit earlier in the day, and they do switch throughout the day, so I really appreciate it. All right, Blackhawks. I'm going to keep it short here. There's just not too much I like. It's just a very, very tough matchup. I know they scored 3 goals last game, but the Hurricanes are extremely good defensively. They're one of the top defensive teams in hockey. Can't see myself getting into any Blackhawks tonight, and the defense are just all way too overpriced. But if you're going to anyone, your boy, Calvin DeHaan, loves to just eat shots to the legs, so I'll take that. But nothing on the Blackhawks side that I'm excited about.
Yeah, he's actually been shooting quite a bit as well. He has 6 shots in his last 2 games, so some good value there for 3,600. I think with the Blackhawks, if it was a better matchup, I'd say maybe looking at that second line. Strom's been pretty good as well as so is DeBrincat. They both get power play 1 time, just as like a contrarian play. But I think the matchup is just too hard against the Hurricanes tonight. So I will be off the Blackhawks altogether, except for my boy Calvin DeHaan. And Malcolm Subban is my 20-foot with a pole.
Yeah.
Goalie.
No, thank you. Just reading the chat right now. Last question. I just got to trade offer my Aho for his Bertuzzi. Hell no. You got it. Target Huberdeau or JT Miller for a trade? JT Miller for sure. Kubalik has been shooting a whole ton. Let
me look at his numbers real quick.
Yeah, that line was pretty good last game. 6 scoring chances to 2, 10 Corsi. Yeah, I don't mind line 2 in the Blackhawks tonight. They're not bad. The only
I've heard a lot of analytics people say that they were super. I think I mentioned it before that they were high on Strome having a breakout season this year for some reason. But
I'll never understand why Shaw is still getting power play 1 time. Anyways,
yeah,
Coyotes, Blues. Not too much again on this Coyotes side that I'm excited about. They're pretty poor defensively. I know if Ray's in the chat here, he was messaging me today about how he likes the Coyotes tonight. I did some digging. They just don't project very well for us. Jordan Binnington is one of the top goalies tonight, and he's someone I rag on a lot, and I'm going to eat my words and say I take it back. So I have the, sorry, this is the shooting percentage. Where's the goalies analysis? Okay. So Binnington is the top goalie tonight for high danger save percentage and at 866. So it's going to be hard for me to take any Coyotes tonight, given that Binnington's been pretty lights out in any scoring chance opportunities. And there's no Coyotes lines that really stick out to me here. But if I'm going anywhere tonight, I like Chikrin at 5,100. He is a very high shot volume guy, and I'll bring up this sheet again. Oops. So Chikrin's number 3 for shot attempts per game right now. So I think that's really good. Chikrin's a 5-shot, 3-block guy, plays a lot of minutes, plays on the power play. So if I'm going anywhere tonight, it's going to be just Chikrin. And yeah, I'm off Ranta. I just think the Blues are too good of a team to take Ranta.
Yeah, I mentioned it to you just before the stream. I picked up Chikrin as like a late round a D guy, and he's just been paying dividends for me with his shot volume. So definitely something to look at if your league counts shots and you're in more of a deeper league, and a guy like that is available. 5,100 tonight, I think, is a fair price for a really high floor defenseman like Chikrin. He's still going to get his looks. He's playing power play one time. He's over 20 minutes. I think that warrants his price just because of his floor. Likes to block too. He hasn't got the block bonus in a little bit, but he will get you 1 or 2 blocks as well. But I'm off the Yotes tonight. I don't think there's just better matchups to go to. I never get excited about anybody on this team until they start pulling ridiculous advanced stats. I think I'll just be off them. It's tough to get to a team with not a lot of offensive upside when you rely on lines needing to score goals. So maybe if they see a favorable matchup in the future, I'll take some Coyotes, but I just think there's better looks tonight. And I'm off Ranta even. I think I would rather go somebody like Demko, who's going to see a bunch of shots from the Leafs for 6,900 than I would Ranta.
Yeah. So on the Blues side, I'm just doing some digging here quick. So it looks like the Shen line was playing against Coyotes 2 and 3. So I'm assuming that the O'Reilly line was matching against Coyotes 1, which makes complete sense to me given that he's a shutdown center. Just going to quickly pull this up. It takes me 2 seconds. So yeah, the O'Reilly line is hard matching against the Coyotes 1. Just a brutal matchup for the Coyotes tonight. The Coyotes 1 is just, they're going to spend a lot of time in their own end. O'Reilly's going to be shutting them down like he's done in the past. So I like Blues 1 and 2 tonight. Line 2 has been extremely good 5-on-5. And they're going against the Coyotes' depth, which is very poor. A lot of below average NHL players. So they are priced a little bit up. I would love to see Shen back at 5K, but that's only going to predict their ownership, right? So the ownership's going to be relatively low. We didn't see too much happen, but with Kemper not in net tonight, like Ranta is not that good. So if it's Kemper, it gives me more of a case to why I should not take the Blues. But even line 3 tonight, they project really well. I know you've been on them quite a bit this year, but their expected goal numbers are getting better. I was really high on Robert Thomas this year, someone that's been kind of struggling, but at that min price range, if he gets an assist, he's already paying off 2x value. So don't mind that. And your boy, he finally paid off. Colton Parayko, he's someone that you are one of the highest on that out of any of the defensemen in the league. So he's someone that just was really good for us last year, and he's 4,900 tonight. So I love Colton Parayko in any night. He shoots a bunch, he blocks, he has a lot of offensive upside. So love Parayko tonight. Falk is a little pricey, but again, he's playing so many minutes and he shoots and blocks a lot. So don't mind Parayko, don't mind Falk, and Binnington's in a good spot tonight as well.
Yeah, I like Binnington tonight. I'm just going to look at his price quickly. We don't have it listed. He's probably higher up there in terms of pricing. Yeah, he's 8K. So I still think that's good value for him. But you talked about Parayko, and I think for 4,900, absolute slam dunk. The guy has just such a high floor as a defenseman, loves to shoot, loves to block. And he's got 4 points in his last 3 games. So seeing a little bit of production there is always nice too, especially with his price being down at 4,900. I like Falk as well for 45. I think that's also a good play. You've seen Parayko and Falk have to play like a more important role for the Blues, especially with Petro being gone. And Krug at 5,400. Did you have a take on him? I can't remember what you said.
No, I didn't. I don't really like Krug that much, and DFS.
Yeah, it's tough to get to. Even though he's power play 1, I think 5,400. He just doesn't have the peripherals that I'm looking for in terms of a D at that price. Like I'd rather almost go with Chikrin just because of his floor being that high.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the reason why I'm often high on the Blues third line is because they're cheap. Blaze and Thomas bring that price down. They have upside with Hoffman on that line. And then Thomas and Hoffman both have power play correlation. So I think that's a really good filler line. And that's something I'm going to look to continue to go to just in good matchups, especially against the Coyotes third line there. But I like the second line as well. Like, just look at their expected goals for versus their expected goals against. They've been absolutely lights out. Jordan Kyrie's playing amazing. I know FP Don was super high on him this year, so shout out to him. That's a really good find as well. And even if you go with the first line, I think it's still a good matchup. The Blues are good. They're going to be a good filler for most higher end lines as well. And I think the Blues have a good look tonight.
Yeah. Sam Bennett is scratched. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too big of a Sam Bennett fan. You think Parayko has trade value in a hits and blocks league? Yes, he does. So
absolutely.
Let me pull up the projections here. So we have him at 140, but this is just a different scoring. Like if we were to just add up, all of this together, he's really good value. So I'm just looking at Parayko right now. So in his first 10 games this year, he is averaging 2 shots a game, 2 blocks a game, and has 7 points. So, I mean, hard for me to get away from him tonight. Flames, Jets. So the final game of the night. I guess we'll answer some questions right now before we go through this. Hakanapa. Yeah, I mean, he's had a couple, like 4 or 5 blocks a game for Anaheim. Tons of work lately, not being able to jump on the stream, but always watching the replays of your show when I get in. For any newcomers listening to these guys, always good info. Appreciate it, Matt. I've seen you a lot in the chat before, so love to see that you're always coming back and spreading the positivity here. These COVID outbreaks killing the season. Yeah, I have so many injuries on my team. Like, it's a joke right now. Close trade. Svech has more games left. Oh, appreciate you answering some of the questions there, Jax. Corey Graves, shout out to you. Tier 3 Patreon. Corey, if you want to send me your Discord name, you can message me on, I think you can message us on Patreon. If not, I'll message you, and we'll give you the Hall of Fame status in our Discord. So I appreciate the support. You're going to get access to our articles, get access to our projections, this sheet that's been very valuable for some of our viewers, especially you and I, that we've won a fair amount of money this year. So really appreciate it, Corey.
Is that our first Hall of Famer?
Hot take. I feel like Mike wears that hat to bed, and when he wakes up, it's still on perfectly backwards. Man, I wish I can show them some of the pictures like from university. It's just my hat's on in every picture. I'm gonna start wearing it too.
Is Corey our first Hall of Famer Patreon?
Nope, we have a couple Hall of Famers.
Oh, yeah, I have to have like an inductee ceremony.
Yeah, seriously. Should I trade Spurgeon for Slavin? Yeah, that's a good trade. I would take Slavin. Parayko is the new Petro. Yeah, I mean Falk might even be the new Petro, man. Jeez. I think Bennett is scratched. I traded away Burns and Suzuki for Hamilton in a points league. That's a oof. I don't know. That's a pretty close trade. I probably keep Burns and Suzuki personally.
Yeah, I think you oversold there on Suzuki a little bit.
That's a close trade. Is there a reason that North Division hasn't had any games shut down yet? Just a luck. I think it's because we have way better COVID numbers right now. I don't know though. Maybe Bettman just doesn't want to show that Canada's getting some of the players have COVID, but I mean, everyone's playing. So, all right, Flames Jets final game. So, I hope we don't have any line changes. Let me check before we start. I know BioArmor is already on it. All right, so the lines look. Simon's on line 2. All right. Dominic Simone. All right. Gaudreau, Backlund, Levo. Is that what we have? Mangiapane, Backlund, Levo. God, Mangiapane just needs to move up to that top line. Please move up. Anyways, so Flames. The first line has actually not been very good this year. I thought they were going to be much better analytically, especially with Tkachuk there that's always standing in front of that net and just causing havoc. But they have not been producing at the rates that I was expecting them. I'm just trying to pull up the matchup data here. So it looks like they were going against line 3 last night. So Flames won against Winnipeg 3. which I don't like too much because I think Winnipeg 1 is the line that has like brutal defensive numbers. Give me a second here. I want to see if it was Monahan playing against the first line. Okay, so yeah, that's who was going against them. So definitely favorable for the Monahan line here if they're going up against Jets 1. Like their prices as well. Gaudreau at 6K, Monahan at 5,800, and you don't have to put Dominic Simone on the line. Like you can get weird and put Tkachuk there, put Lindholm there. I mentioned this a lot with the power play stacks. The Jets are just a poor defensive team. But man, Flames 3 absolutely worked Jets 2 last game, like really bad. And you saw that Maurice interview when he was getting really upset about Wheeler's, how bad he's been defensively. And it's true. He's been atrocious defensively. I just wish I saw more upside on this line 3, but I think if you guys are going Leafs 1 and say you're paying up pretty big for defensemen, like you can take Flames 3 as a filler stack, especially at under 10K. They project really well for us. So don't mind that at all. I don't think I'll be getting to it, but if you guys are like really paying up and you're looking for a cheap line, you can definitely go here. Defensive side, there's never really anything I'm excited about on the Flames D. I liked Giordano last year when he was playing 25 minutes a night, but power play 2 doesn't interest me. His minutes are down. Rasmus Andersson, good for season long, not the best for DraftKings. And Jacob Markstrom. So I'm going to talk about Markstrom a little bit. Where is my goalies? So here's my goalie sheet quickly, and this is sorted by high danger, save percentage. Markstrom's number 2. So that's something you want to keep in mind. And this is going into last year as well on an even worse defensive team on Vancouver. So Markstrom has been extremely good at stopping high danger chances and scoring chances in general. So that's just going to justify why I like Markstrom quite a bit tonight. And I just think the Jets are going to struggle to score goals on him.
Yeah, Markstrom's definitely an elite goalie. I don't think I'm going to any of the D tonight either. Even Noah Hannafin at 2,700, I don't get excited about him like even being at 19 minutes average time on ice there. The third line, like you said, it could be a good filler. I know we have a good projection for Mangiapane. Even Levo, Backlund, some power play 2 correlation there isn't bad for a third line, especially. Line 2 and line 1 have kind of been burning me for the Flames. I thought this was going to be the past couple games a much more favorable matchup for Calgary, and it just hasn't been. So I'm probably going to be around the field with them tonight. I don't think I'll be too overweight as I was the past couple games because they have burned me, no pun intended. But I think Gaudreau Monahan still has some Gaudreau Monahan still has some offensive upside, as well as you saw Tkachuk get 2 goals last game. So I think a power play stack is definitely a good option here. It's tough to get to Rasmus Andersson if he doesn't get like 2 or 3 assists. I just don't think he holds his value. He doesn't have very good peripherals. And for 5,200, there's definitely better options on the slate tonight. So other than that, I'm just going to be around the field for the Flames, I think.
Yeah, nothing too exciting here from the Flames side at all. But Jet side, going to keep it relatively short here. I just think it's a tough matchup against the Flames and Markstrom. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I know this Canadian division is the highest scoring and the worst defensive division, and I think everyone knows that by now, but they're pretty pricey, and it's just a tough matchup, man. I don't know. But I'm doing some cash lineups tonight. I'm not going to touch Jets or Flames, personally. I just don't think there's anything here that I'm overly excited about. I just wish Neil Pionk was power play 1 over Morrissey. But I think Morrissey and Pionk are priced pretty fair tonight. So if you need a D in that range and you're kind of hesitant, I think you're fine going with either of those two if you can't pay up for Falk or Parayko. And Hellebuck at 7,600, I think he's always a good play there. On the goalie sheet, he looks to be number 7 tonight out of the 16 goalies. So not bad. But I just think I'm not too excited about that much in this game as I was last week.
Yeah, like I said, the matchup was I thought it was going to be a lot more favorable for the Flames. I won't make the getting burned joke again because Mike's going to have a fit. But I think the biggest thing that holds me from the Jets is their price. Like, they're very, very expensive. And I'd rather go to better looks tonight. Like, any of the Montreal lines, any of the Hurricanes lines, I just think are better options. They're cheaper, and they give you more opportunity to pay up for D. So I think I might just fade the Jets altogether tonight. If that Scheifele line or the Stassi line ends up burning me like that, I'm okay with that. I just think there's better plates on the slate tonight.
Yeah.
As well as the D. The D situation is always awful with the Jets. If Pionk was on the first power play unit, then maybe you could warrant his price for 50 or 4,100. But I will get to some Connor just as like a one-off, just because he is an elite goalie. Same thing with Markstrom. Like, it'll be interesting to see like how high event / low event the game will be tonight, just with two amazing goalies going up against each other.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Christmas was making me laugh. He said Tyler Mott's the best player in the league, and he's never ever made a mistake before. Just make me laugh.
Can you make a mistake when he goes off the glass every play?
No, that's Forbert. What's up, Hockey's Greatest? How's it going, man? Happy to see you in here. I need help. I have Aho, Scheif, and Kopitar. Need to trade someone because heavy games. Who should I target? If you're getting rid of Kopitar, well, it depends on your league there, Tori. Depends. Like, if your league has like a lot of shots and hits, like if that's a pretty big category, then Matt or Brady to Chuck, I think you can be able to get for Kopitar. Can't get away from Toronto and Carolina. No, you can't. It's way too hard tonight. All right, so conclude the stream with your two favorite lines tonight. Would you like me to go first, or would you like to go first tonight? Today.
I can go first tonight.
All
I
right.
think mine are pretty obvious. I think
Yep.
we're going Leafs 1 with Matthews, Marner, Hyman, and then I'm also going to go with Montreal 2.
All right. Mine's Montreal 2, and I can't get away from Hurricanes 2 tonight. So
Hurricanes do look great as well.
Can't
Favorite?
So wait, one sec.
Favorite?
Okay.
Okay.
Dayton is just talking about Anderson PP1. Here, Dayton, I'll show you. Sorry to cut you off.
You're good.
Just want to answer this question here. What is it, daily face-off? Is he power play 1?
For Rasmus Anderson?
No, for Josh Anderson. No, it doesn't. They
Oh,
don't,
Josh
they don't have him
Anderson.
power play 1 here. They have
On
Weber.
daily faceoff, he's not on there. But I looked at left wing lock and just the split between the power play, and he was on the first power play unit.
Yeah. I'll just show you what I'm going
38%.
off of here, Dayton. Just give me a second. I don't know why it's taking so long to load. So this is Montreal's power play minutes from last game. So Petrie, Suzuki, Anderson, Drouin, Toffoli leading the way. So that's clear that all of them were on the same power play unit last game. And then Mete, Tatar, Gallagher, Kotkaniemi, Edmondson. So I'm not sure what happened with Weber, but he only played 20 seconds on the power play last game. So I'm not sure if Weber is on the top power play. I'm not sure why he was even off of it. But from what I'm seeing here, it looks like Julian changed it up a little bit and went with 5 forwards and 1D last game. So that's all I'm basing it off of. I'm not sure if he's going to change it up, but this is what I'm seeing here. All right, so continue with the question you were going to ask.
Who is we already know your favorite value D, so who
Yeah.
is your favorite expensive D tonight?
Favorite expensive D tonight? I would say, I mean, it's hard for me to ignore it, but Roman Josi again and again
Roman
and
Josi.
again.
I'm gonna go with Jeff Petrie.
Nice.
I'm gonna ride the wave, dude.
Yeah, good. It's a good matchup, man. Very favorable for him.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, value D, Brett Pesce, Parayko. If Parayko's even
Ekholm.
mid-range, at home. All right,
Yeah.
so everybody, this question for you, Clarky, and this is a question for everyone in the stream. I want everyone's hat trick predictions for tonight. Someone is going to hit this prediction at one point. So everyone, oops, that's my Steam account. Feel free to toss in your hat trick predictions for tonight. hat trick predictions, and then we'll get ours queued up here.
Check for Hattie tonight. Easy money.
Wow.
That's a bold take.
I like
Duncan.
that,
He's
though.
been playing very well.
So that is Duncan. We're thinking of giving this sheet away for a certain period of time if you get it right. We're trying to figure out a way of compensating the person who gets it right. Maybe we'll order the jersey to your house. Kyle Connor for Deaton. Badner with Panarin. Or he's hoping Panarin. I'm going to assume that's your guess. Devils. I haven't seen you in chat today. How's it going, man? How you been doing in DraftKings? Ooh, Christmas with Marner, Clarky. I like that, though. Off the board a little bit.
Yeah.
Dill with Suzuki. Like that. Jeff with Simmons. We got our second Ovi with Bio.
Logan, you got to pick one, bud. Either Matthews or Connor.
Oh, is Matthew the one who said... No.
No, Matthew said Pavelski, and Logan said Matthews or Kyle Connor. Ori with the Philip Forsberg pick. I like that. He's been shooting a bunch too, so. Jesse
with Hornquist. I almost had the hat trick prediction the other night with Puliarvi. Yeah, that would have been awesome. I like the Hornquist one. Nietzsche if he has more than one shot.
We saw you Petrie again. Yep, we got that.
Oh, we got the first Pavelski.
Ori with Svechnikov. I like that as well.
Logan, who are you going with? I'll go Matthews. Someone picked Connor already. All right. I think he's taking yours, but I mean, it doesn't matter if they're the same. Let's go into a limb. Philip Forsberg. Corey, attaboy. Love that. We got a lot of submissions today. I'm saying Svech, rip Subban. Brian with Anderson. I'm assuming that's Craig Anderson you're going with, Brian?
Score hat trick, absolutely.
I'm funny, eh?
It's a guarantee.
Connor Martin with Druin. Someone take Anderson. Yep, Brian's on it. We all know it's going to be Mott. D Jax with Nylander, all right. And then Ray with the Vrana moved up to the second line, has something to prove tonight. All right. So, who's your hat trick prediction for tonight?
My hat trick prediction is Austin Matthews.
All right. So, Clarky off the board here. Sleeper pick, Austin
Way
Matthews.
off the board.
All right. My pick for tonight is, I told you before the stream, but staying true to my word, Mika Zibanejad. If anyone's due, it's him. So
he is due. I will give you that.
I'm going Zib tonight, and God, I hope I'm right. Let me just write some of the rest of these predictions down. Oh, we got a Mikheyev.
Oh, Guns. I wouldn't sit Hughes, even though if your league counts plus minus, he's still going to get you a bunch of points. Potentially tonight. He should. Guns also went with Tavares with the hat trick. How is Subban employed? Honestly, looks like a beer league backup. I mean, Chicago lost all their goaltending.
Chicago's just a mess.
So, Corey Crawford still has 80-year-old knees.
All right, we have some lost. So Kyle. with the Barkov. And then Valerie with Mikheyev. All right. Should I post this list in the Discord? I have the list here, so I'll post it in the Discord. And I'll let everyone in the Discord say their hat trick predictions for tonight. All right, guys. So that will conclude the stream. Appreciate everyone for coming in today. A lot of awesome discussion. I appreciate everyone that helped us out with the lines here. Sorry that it was a little messed up. Again, we do this the night before sometimes. So I hope everyone wins some money tonight. If you're not following our Twitter, head over there at @fantasy_puck. We'll be tweeting on there. Updating you guys on the lines, updating you guys on anything major that's going on in the league. Also, if you guys are not in the Discord yet, definitely head into the Discord. We are growing. I think we're over 120 people right now. So the community is getting there. We have a lot of people that are active in there, a lot of people that will help answer your questions and help you make decisions. Or if you just want to talk hockey, all that happens in there. So definitely head over there. If you guys want access to the sheet, access to our projections, our trade analyzer, all of that, our premium articles, it's all available over on our Patreon. If you like our content and want to support us, we have a tier for that as well. And you'll be given some Discord exclusive privileges, which is something that we just introduced. If you haven't, we have 57 people in here. So if you haven't liked the stream, leave a like, subscribe, and any closing words, Mr. Chris Charlton.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you to you. Second of all, guys, Mike does a lot of work outside of this. All the numbers here, he just digs so hard for all these advanced stats, puts a lot of time and effort into this. So leave a like on the video if you haven't already, first of all. Hit that subscribe button and then get into the Discord, as well as if you guys want to support us, the Patreon is available. We give you guys a lot of good value there if you're doing DFS as well as season-long fantasy. So definitely look into that as well. I'm sure all of our Patreon subscribers currently will say that it is worth the money that you pay, and we make sure of that. So thanks again to Mike for having me on, and let's make some money tonight, guys.
Yeah, we're due.
We are.
All right. If you guys have any questions or just want to talk to me personally, just message me on Discord. I do my best to respond to everybody. And if you have any questions with regards to DFS, I know Ray has been asking me, so we've been kind of working with him, and he made some money last night. So if you guys have any questions ever, just feel free to reach out. I'm here. So